Guys, what's up? This is part 2 of the Dexter is a imp video. I had to stop recording because I was on my way to the gym and didn't really have time to completely finish it. So this is part 2. When I wrapped up part 1, I said that I was going to tell a personal story and provide anecdotal experience to the single mother experience. So I have used people within my family as examples, as well as myself. You know, this is not like something where if it's me in particular, I won't share, because, you know, at the end of the day, I am interested in sharing knowledge and sharing truth. And, you know, even if that somewhat, for lack of a better way of saying it, hurts, I guess, the persona of somebody, or maybe slightly casts a negative light on them, I think in the end, the ends justify the means. So I have talked about my dad on this channel a few times, and I've said that my dad is a great man, you know, in a lot of regards. He is a high value man, always has been. He's always been super driven, super competitive, super masculine in that regard. However, my dad is, and always has been, very blue-pilled when it comes to relationships. And I do think that part of that comes from him. Well, one, he didn't really have a good example of a more red pill minded female knowledge situation. And I think part of it is that he is 5'5", and so some of the attributes that I'm going to describe, I think stem from that. So my dad has been married 3 times, and his first 2 wives, including, you know, one of them who is of course my mom, were single mothers. And my mom had 2 kids when she met my dad. His second wife had 1 kid. Now, the good news with that is he was basically an adult by the time they got married, but it still was not without its conflicts or issues. There was one time with the second wife where there was a situation where her son wasn't doing what she asked, and so she kicked him out of the house. And, you know, he wasn't leaving. And I remember to this day, and I was a little kid, you know, at first she told my dad not to involve himself. And then as soon as she got to a point where she was unable to defend herself verbally, she immediately turned to my dad and said, "Why aren't you doing anything?" And suffice it to say, you know, the cops had to come and you know, get him out of the house, and so on and so on. And that is a perfect example of the expectation that is set from a single mother towards the non-biological father with regards to situations like these. At the end of the day, they almost always will expect you to take on the role and take on the responsibility of a biological father. But again, without the authority or anything like that. My dad's first marriage, he had much of the same, where, you know, he was asked to take on certain fatherly responsibilities only to have it used against him later down the line. And I look back at it, if you look at the 3 kids that were not his, that he was involved with, both of the marriages ended up in divorce. He has never seen any one of those kids since the divorce. And at least a quarter of each of his paychecks, or a quarter of his yearly money total, went to those kids. So I tell this story just to give a cautionary tale that a majority of the time, if you get into a relationship with a single mom, especially if you do not set boundaries, sooner or later, the expectation will be that you take on the responsibility of a biological father. But the woman knows unconsciously, especially if the kids are not lawfully yours, that card can be used and pulled against you at any moment, the fact that you are not their father. And see, that's the thing. That's kind of the underlying situation that I think men need to understand, is that a lot of women, and this comes from the the Rollo Tomasi and Myron, that men love idealistically and women love opportunistically. And so when you look at this situation and you take that saying into account, it makes total sense, because women, this includes feminism, they try to keep everything that benefits them. Even if it doesn't benefit them for this moment, but it'll benefit them in this moment, whatever the case may be, they kind of want to have this buffet style of inconsistent logic where at the end of the day, the sole thing and sole aspect that they're thinking about is whether it benefits them. So if that means in one moment pretending like you are the father of kids and that's beneficial to them, then they will do it. If in the next moment, a totally different day, it benefits them to not hold you to the standard and responsibility of being their father, they will pull that card. So that is really the red pill right there that you need to realize is a high likelihood if you are going to, that is going to occur if you enter into a relationship with a red pill woman, not a red pill woman, with a single mother. You need to realize that, because, and as Andrew says, all of this is just data for you to take in and respond accordingly. In my eyes, in my estimation, a single mom is not completely and utterly off the table. It's for me personally, it's highly unlikely I would, but I am in a much better place, and this is what I'm trying to relay to you guys. Thus, you guys will be in a much better place to navigate if you did try to take that situation on by knowing these red pill truths. That is kind of the situation that I'm getting at here, is at the end of the day, it's better to know these things so you can navigate and so you can respond accordingly. For example, with this, somebody who knows the red pill knowledge versus somebody that doesn't. Myself, who knows the red pill knowledge, I hypothetically, if I did enter into a relationship with a single mother, I would be very strong with my boundaries, and I would be very upfront about what it would take for me to take on that responsibility, what I would need in order to take on that responsibility. And if the woman is not cool with that, so be it. There's plenty of other fish in the sea. That's the problem, and that's the underlying issue with all of this, is that a lot of men refuse to acknowledge the red flags or the red pill truths. They would rather stay ignorant because they don't value themselves. They think that they're lucky to have this woman who's a single mother who is really low on the sexual marketplace value market, or sexual marketplace, whatever the fuck, sexual marketplace. They're really low. But because the guy has the mindset that they are valueless, in their mind, they're still below that woman, which is totally and utterly false. There's a video that I want to react to that I don't necessarily, believe in this guy's cold approach or anything like that per se, but there's this Canadian pickup artist guy that I'm going to be responding to a video where he talks about the value that most men do indeed have, especially men that are up and comers in society. So anyways, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe, and last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy, will in facts or feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you, King. See you guys next time. Peace.